Hello and welcome back to Sci-Fi Tech. In this video, I'm going to show you to make rose hydrosol, also known as rose water, with using these fresh rose petals and distilling them and using this chemistry distillation apparatus. Let's get started. And this is the equipment that you're going to need to use for this project. The items you're going to need is this 500ml Florence flask that is sitting on top of this heating mantle, which you can use to adjust temperature with. Florence flask is attached to this thermometer joint. This thermometer joint is attached to this lead bit condenser. Lead bit condenser is connected to this joint, which curves into this Erlenmeyer flask, where you'll be able to collect all of your distillants from. In this case, the rose water, or rose hydrosol. And then of course the next thing that's important to use is this cooking pot, filled up with cold packs or ice, filled with distilled water, going through this water pump to be able to transfer cold water to go into the lead bit condenser to cool down your distillants. Next I'm going to go outside with this bag and fill this bag up with rose petals. Pluck the petals off just like this and fill up the bag. And there. Now I have my scale and my bag of rose petals, and let's see how much I've collected. 111 grams. Next I'm going to get my Florence flask and fill it up with rose petals. Pick up 3 or 4 rose petals and stuff the Florence flask, just like this. Next I'm going to get some distilled water and fill up the Florence flask about half. About halfway full, just like this. And now it's time to put it on the heating mantle and attach the joints together, and let's begin the process. Put a little bit of vacuum grease, just like this. Attach it together. Twist the Florence flask just like this to make sure the vacuum grease is spread around the joint perfectly. Attach the joint clamp and attach the clamp together. Next, I'm going to fill up this pot with some distilled water and ice packs, so that way I have some cold water circulating into the lead bit condenser. And now it's time to plug in the water pump, and there, the pump is on, and here's my favorite part, watching the lead bit condenser fill up with cold water. Perfect. Perfect circulation. Now it's time to turn on the heat, and we're ready to go. And there we go, it should look just like this. Heating mantle is turned on, and now the process will begin. 30 minutes later, and as you can see, the rose petals have lost their color, and that means I've collected in my Erlenmeyer flask a little bit of rose hydrosol. Okay, so far I have emptied out the bag. All of the rose petals are now out of this bag, and this is my final batch. I did about three runs of this filling up to about 200 milliliters each, and I filled it up, and now this is my final batch, and I'm just going to boil it away until I see all of these rose petals become transparent. When they become transparent, I will then pour this final batch into the separatory funnel and see if I possibly collected some rose oil. If not, then it will just be pure rose hydrosol instead. Okay, so I've turned the valve on the separatory funnel, and I'm going to see if I've collected any rose oil. Now as you can see, my Florence flask still has my final batch. That's because I accidentally left the room and I let the water boil out and I burned the rose petals. So instead, I'll have tar mixed into the solution, and I don't want that. And it smells really, really bad. So unfortunately, I'll just deal with just this batch. So right now, I'm just letting the water pour out, and I'm going to see if I've collected any of the oil. It kind of looks like I did, just a very small amount. Yeah, there's some small amount of rose oil right there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and collect some of the rose oil that I've collected in this Erlenmeyer flask, and I'm going to go and put it inside of this amber vial. I'm going to use my pipette and collect some of the rose oil that is on top of the surface. It's not much, but it's a little bit of something. Carefully. And there we go, I have a little bit of the rose oil with some hydrosol mixed in with it. But it's more concentrated than the hydrosol. Now let's see how much it weighs. Take an empty vial, tear it. And now let's see how much I actually collected. I see, just slightly under a gram. So this means I have 1 gram of concentrated hydrosol, is pretty much what this is. Has a lot of the rose oil in it, but it's mixed with some hydrosol, so basically it's concentrated hydrosol. I have right here in this Erlenmeyer flask 400 milliliters of pure rose hydrosol, or also known as rose water. And there we have it, this project is now complete. As you can see, I've collected concentrated rose hydrosol with a lot of the rose essential oil in it, and I've managed to collect 400 milliliters of pure rose hydrosol. And there you have it, now you know how to make rose water and concentrated rose water with using just a simple chemistry distillation apparatus. And there you have it. Thank you for watching SciTech. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course click on the bell icon to be notified for future SciTech videos. Till the next tech, goodbye.